Okay, having fun yet, people? Um, Now we're going to do stairs. I got the stairs for the basement done, figured out. I do want you to go ahead and add hardwood flooring in this area because that's going to affect our stairs. The drawings on sheet A7, the stair sections do not take into account any finished flooring. His dimensions there go from subfloor to subfloor. And we want to take into account finished floor. So go ahead and add hardwood flooring on level 1. And then I also added it on level 2, just right in here. Now we've got a guardrail that's going to come across right here, and I haven't dealt with that yet, so I just kind of, did the flooring, uh, mainly so I would have something right here by the stairs, but we'll deal with that later. Now, you will want to add, let me go to my section view here, let's see. Okay, the plans do show a 2x4 right here, blocking against the joist. So I went ahead and added the 2x4, and I brought my plywood subflooring out over the top of it. It's not showing up right there, but because we got all this stuff. But I've got the 2x4 piece here, and then I extended the plywood subfloor out to that point. All right, so basement floor. When you go to add this, you're going to have to edit your stair rules. So, oh, I forgot to tell you, you got to copy the stair sample that I've given you attached, and I actually brought two of them in. The one you want is the stairs assembled by components, not the stairs by sketch or parts. It's a residential closed two sides. They both look identical when you bring them in. But in the stair sample file, there's two sets of everything. There's one that's by sketch and one by components. I want you to bring in the one that's by components. Okay. And then when you go to put it in, you just use your regular stair commands, but you're going to have to edit your rules because we want 15 risers and it's going to want to default to 16. So you're going to have to come in here and change. I changed maximum riser height. I bumped it up to 8. Set my minimum tread depth at 9 inches because 9 inches is what's given us in our drawings. The the run width is not 3 feet as it's shown because um, it shows 3'1" on the drawings, and that's from face of stud to face of stud on the two walls. So it would be 3 feet drywall to drywall. But the way Revit calculates the stairs, it does it a little bit differently. So you'll have to edit that once you've got it put in. Okay, we're going to do closed stringers. The stringer should be 3/4 inch wide, and that's not actually the stringer that's holding our stairs up. It's the trim board that goes along the edges. Okay, and on calculation rules, that should be okay for that, but it just had to edit and just do a lot of playing around. Okay, um, so let me go back to my section. Where'd it go? Here we go, section 8. It's going to be a lot of playing around with things to get it to fit right, and I'm doing it as a start with riser, end with riser. And you just have to adjust the placement of these things to get what you want. But the total rise should be from the top of your hardwood flooring down to the top of basement floor. Okay, so it's just going to take some playing around and adjusting to getting it to work right. Okay, so let me go to this section, And you're going to delete the handrails that come with the thing anyway, once you put it in. But as you can see here, the outside edge of the stringers should be on the face of the gypboard, okay, on both sides. And then once you got your stair in place and correct, you want to come and edit this interior 2x4 stud wall type and go edit the structure. And what I did, I'm trying this in that I made like one side of the bottom of the wall adjustable, because you can only make one side adjustable for the drywall. So I unlocked, like say on this one, I unlocked the right side at the bottom, and then I unlocked the left side at the top. So depending upon where the wall's located at, I could adjust, hopefully I could adjust something, all right? And in order to adjust these things, you'll have to unpin the wall. You'll have to unpin it, and then the handles come available, and you can pin it back. Okay, if you have to flip a wall, like I had to flip, I think it was this one, I had to, of course, you have to unpin it, but then I had to change the location line of it. It was like exterior core or something like that, so I changed it back to core center line, and then you can flip it, it'll stay in one place. But there were one of the subfloor, one of the flooring constraints was constrained to the wall, so I had to delete and adjust that. So it's just going to take some playing around. Okay, so you'll get the stairs in, and then you're going to want to create a nosing right here. And let me go back to section 8. And I did this as an extrusion in place. And the size of these things, they're 1 inch thick total with a 1/2 inch radius on the round. It's like 1 1/4 inch from there, this point back to the nosing. This is the way they're made, okay? And they're 3 1/2 inches total depth, okay? And this is 3/4 of an inch here. So you can start an extrusion, model a component in place. You can choose the stringer as your plane that you're going to sketch on. You can sketch this thing out and get it in the right location, and then extrude it across from stringer to stringer. Okay. Now, doors, I went through and I changed all the settings on my doors, and I raised them all 3/4 of an inch to get them out of the hardwood, but it causes the threshold of the door pattern to show up. So this one I made like 11/16 off the first floor, and it looks better. Okay, it's sitting a 1/16 of an inch down into things here, but you don't have that weird line. Like if I make it 3/4, you can see it brings the actual bottom of the door family up on top of the flooring. So I left it sunken down in the floor, 1/16 of an inch. Okay, and then you'll have to edit your, excuse me, you have to edit your hardwood flooring, and you can hide the door to make it a little easier to do this, but you edit your hardwood flooring so that it bumps up against this nosing. Okay, so that's the stairs at the top. Now let's go to the bottom, because this one has a guardrail. Remember, we did a half wall out here, and is this my basement view? Yeah, I kind of got a little wonky with my view here. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. There was not a dimension on this wall, but just looking at their plans, it came out, I don't know, like 6 treads or something back, and it kind of shows a little split there. So that's about what I did. I rounded out, I don't know, 6 treads, whatever that was. And then I edited the profile of it, and I well, I actually made it full length first and then edited the profile, but I made the top of the wall flush with the top of the stringer. And let me go back to my section view here. And I can show you a little better there. Let me flip this over. Okay, so the top of the wall is flush with the top of the stringer here. So I edited the wall and changed it around. Okay, and I brought it down and I ended it at the end of the stringer. Okay, now in order to get this whole railing thing here to work on top of a wall, and they don't normally want to do that. And so what we've done is we're going to do a little hacking, a little weird stuff that you just have to do in Revit sometimes. This piece of trim board right here is actually a ramp that I made. I duplicated a ramp family, made its thickness 3/4 of an inch. I made it 6 inches wide. Okay, and you just got to play with your heights until you can get it on top of that wall. So let me pull this section over actually into the wall. Okay, so now we're in the wall. This is the ramp. Now, the settings that I have here may not work for you. Depends on how your wall ended up. Okay, so don't just take my numbers and run with them. But what it is, I created it on top of the wall first, and then I came back and right here, I put another piece of trim on the end, and I just modeled this in place, made it 6 inches wide, sketched it so the top edge was the same slope as this piece coming down, and then I adjusted the ramp down to meet the bottom of that. Okay, so let's go back to here. Okay, so now you can see this is the trim piece that I modeled in place. This is my ramp. They meet, flush here and they're on top of the wall. The ramp portion goes all the way up to the wall there. I didn't put one going up the wall. I'm like, you could have, but this is an unfinished basement, so I just kind of left it against the wall. Okay, so you're going to get the ramp in. Then what you're going to do is you're going to create two railings, two different operations. So this one, I copied, and I'll also give you the sample file that goes along with this with residential railings. I mean, these are the same ones we used last semester, but I'm putting them here again. So I took my railing stair handrail residential, I copied it and made one called residential, just the end newel, the end post, which is what we're going to use. And all it is the post. So in my rail structure, I deleted the railing out of it, and it gives you a warning message, telling you not to do that. Okay, on my baluster placement, I came up here in the top for baluster family. I said none. And I've got a start post of the newel and then no corner, no end. The base offset is going to change based on where you're putting it in. And I did a top offset of 2'10". That gets it kind of the right height for what the railing is. So after you put it in, you may have to adjust this top spacing. Okay, so you create this family, and then you come in here and you go to okay, architecture tab, railing, sketch path. And what I did is I came to the edge of my trim and I sketched a little bitty short, like 1-2 inch long line. And I created that, and back in my section view, I came in here and I aligned it to the edge of my trim and locked it in place, and I aligned the bottom of it to the bottom of the floor and locked it in place. Okay, then I came in and back on the basement floor, I created this one. I don't want the wall, I want that. Okay, I duplicated the railing again, and this one is just a rail and a baluster. Okay, so under rail structure, I left that at the default 3 foot and the same railing and wood type and stuff. Okay. On baluster placement, I stuck with the regular colonial. I made the distance at 4 inches. Now this is a center to center distance on these. The drawings say that, you know, an object 4 inches cannot pass through the railing. So I put it at 4 inches and I tried it. It looked good. I adjusted it up a little bit, like 4 1/4, 4 1/2, and the spacing just didn't work out right. So I left it at 4. You can try yours differently. It may work a little differently. Okay, and then down here under the post, I have no balusters down here, so I set everything here to none. So all I have are just the regulars. I don't have any posts. Okay, and then I sketched it. And so that, okay, path. So I sketched it starting kind of at the inner square of the post going up to the wall. And you may have to play with this a little bit to get it to line up exactly right, because what ends up happening is if you just go from the edge of the newel here, the end of the wall, that's where the post or the railing starts, is at the start of your sketch. So I pulled it back to that inner square, and I played with the spacing of these. Like I said, 4-inch seems to work good on this one because I got a little space here and I got a little bit of space here. So that seemed to work out well. And that's a pretty decent looking stair rail, handrail system. Now I haven't done the rail over here. I'll get to that. That's the duplicate of what we did last semester. So you should be able to do that one. Okay. One thing, this height right here, when you start doing this, you're going to have to edit your cut plane elevation so that you get that part of the wall. This right here. So I changed my cut plane up to, like, I don't know, 6 feet for my viewing plane, so that I was able to see where the transition of the wall is. It all depends on how high your wall is there. Okay, so that is stairwells for, the basement to the first floor. That should work good for you. And then I'm gonna work on the next one. I'll be back with another video.